Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective, our first video over 5,000 subscribers. Guys, thank you. We did it. I don't know if y'all saw my post yesterday. If you didn't, you need to follow us on social media ASAP. Links below in the description. But John, thank you, first off, brother.
Thank you. Congrats, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, it's been a journey, and John and I were talking, and he reminded me, because it's like, where did 5K even come from? Like, where did that goal even start?
I think it was a couple months before the season started. We just said, hey, let's double the number. We were around 2,500 followers, or subscribers, and we just thought, hey, let's shoot for 5K by the second game, because we thought the first game, people were gonna start subscribing, but it was really the big push would have been the LSU game, and they did it. It's great.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for so many folks to thank for growing our community, our platform. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to get to football. Yeah. We got to go 1-0 again this week, as Tom Herman says, right? So, but I would be remiss if we didn't thank our friends over at Horns Illustrated. By the way, go pick up that 25th anniversary edition in stores and online. We have the link below for that as well, with the Fanatic Perspective discount code. But in all seriousness, I thank them for sharing our videos on their social media platforms, on their channel and their content and whatnot, and just promoting us. We're very, very blessed and thankful to them. Kind of showing us the ropes behind the scenes. I also want to send a thank you to David Lee at Texas Horns. He has a massive following on Facebook, and I know a lot of folks came this way, and he went out of his way to promote Fanatic Perspective and share us in different Facebook groups and different platforms. So just incredibly thankful to him, and thankful for Mr. Michael Eisenhower as well, who's been very helpful in throwing tips out behind the scenes. So I appreciate him and Eisenhower's downtown on Rainey. And then lastly, Texas Platinum. You guys, Trevor, Matt Madrid, Matt Myers, as well as Thomas Vargas. You guys have been, kind of our running buddies out there, and we've been great friends to keep in touch and bounce ideas off of one another. They have an amazing Twitter platform, a quickly growing YouTube channel. So just really excited for their growth and for them sharing our stuff early on when we were in pursuit, and them rooting for us. Second text message I got was from the guys at Texas Platinum when we went over, and I was at work, so I didn't even know. First text message was you, second text message was from Thomas at Texas Platinum. So really, really thankful to everybody who helped with the effort. And the fans, you guys that have sent DMs, you guys that have left comments, you guys that have shared your content with your brothers or your family members or whoever, thank you. So
that, and also the people who screamed at us across the street. those are my favorite.
So, hey guys! So, no, we really, really are grateful. And this is awesome. And let's talk ball, man. Let's do what we do best. It's funny, after every video we film, you're always like, too easy. Because we just love what we do, right? And I haven't talked to you in a couple days, at least on camera.
Yeah.
So I want to get your thoughts, just post-Texas LSU aftermath. We've gone through, cramp gate, AC gate, everything in between, the football side of things. I want to know, I have a short-term, long-term thing for you. Short-term, how do you feel about us coming out of that game going into Big 12 play? I know we have our last out-of-conference game against Rice, and we will conclude with our Rice prep. But getting out of Rice, how do you feel about us going into Big 12 play? And then long-term, what's the perception of Texas off the national platform?
Yeah. So, honestly, it can go one or two ways. Either we can not improve or we can improve. With this coaching staff and the young talent that we have on here, we have nothing but upside, I think. So nationally, I think we're in good graces. We only dropped 3 positions off of a loss at home, a 7-point loss at home that we, I guess we lost the spread on that one too.
Yeah.
So nationally, we're looking pretty good. Are we looking good right now? are we going to face another team with 3 fantastic athletes at the wide receiver position?
Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's the only. So that will be our test. So we need to. There's a lot. It starts with Rice. I mean, not very often do you really get like kind of 2 tune-up games, and I don't want to overlook Rice at all because they played Army pretty close, and Army's not a terrible team, but at the same time, you know, we have athletes, we should beat them pretty handily. You know, so this is where. This week we need to improve. We're facing a different team. We're facing a different opponent. The point of improvement is obviously our secondary, which that's who I really want to watch. I want to see them get better week after week after week. Hopefully to the point where, you know, we should be competing for a Big 12 championship. Hopefully.
A lot of teaching moments coming out of LSU for everybody. When I talk about everybody, I'm talking about everybody in the secondary. The corners have been the bad guys, right? They've been getting the ones. Every Texas fan I talk to, the first name out their mouth is Kobe Boyce, right? In terms of the culprits.
The kid alone, man. I mean, well, he's a kid still. I mean,
he's not playing well.
Yeah, he's not playing well.
And he, you know, if the brother's honest with himself, he'll acknowledge that he's not playing well. And I think any criticism levied towards him as a football player is valid. Okay. If you come and play at a school like the University of Texas, you got to take all the good and all the bad that comes with it. All the players that have matured and developed, like a Sam Ellinger, they've gotten the heat as well, right? But teaching moments, do you improve off of that? How do you respond to adversity? Because there's another brother on offense that I got to get to that we got to address. So, you know, Jalen Green coming off of a pretty good game against Louisiana Tech, also struggling against LSU. You know, but the safeties, we lauded our safety room, DBU, all that. They had some misses. You know, Caden Stearns not being able to make that play at the end of the game and allowing a touchdown. The touchdowns in the back of the end zone. The issues we had with nickel. Josh Thompson struggling. He got a ball. He struggled with Justin Jefferson. So across the board, guys got to be held accountable. It can't just be Kobe Boyce is struggling and Anthony Cook's not practicing well, so he's
100%.
You know,
100%. It's not just one player. It's not one player. It's the whole unit, and the whole unit needs to hold each other accountable. And I honestly think it starts with the guy who actually played well was Brandon Jones. He's the leader of that unit, and he just needs to make sure that everyone's aligned properly and taking the correct angles and making sure they're focused every single week, not doing what I did and kind of overlooked Rice and just say, hey, we got to show up. Let's get hold them to under 50 yards passing.
When I say teaching moments, I'm not just talking about blown coverages, because I haven't seen a bunch of that stuff. It's just they're not making the plays when they're there. They're getting beat at the line of scrimmage, so then you're in trail position the whole time. I don't see guys where it's a communication issue per se, or they just don't even know where to line up, because we've had that problem in the past.
Yes,
where people been breaking downfield and two dudes are looking at each other like, whose man is that? That's not a technique issue. You see what I'm saying? So we got to get the technique stuff cleaned up. They've got to see themselves on tape and improve. I'm okay with guys making mistakes, but not the same mistake repeatedly. Does that make sense? And that's where guys like Jason Washington and Todd Orlando and the whole defense got to rally together and get guys coached up and playing confidently.
One thing about this game is it's kind of strange is that I haven't seen many of these games where the more each of the team wins, it helps the other one.
With LSU and Texas.
So if LSU wins out and we win out, it does nothing but sets up a good situation for both of us.
We've had a lot of LSU fans that have said, you know, hey, we want to, you know, we could see each other this year again in the playoffs. Who knows if, you know, God willing, if you know, now we got to get to the health stuff because that's a problem. But that stuff aside, LSU has a damn good football team, and they're going to be in the mix, if not favored to win every football game they play, and they're going to be right there with Bama in that Bama game, right? So they've got a great opportunity, health willing on their side.
Yes.
So, you know, that only benefits Texas on the back end, especially if LSU even improves and gets the defensive stuff sorted out with the amount of snaps that they're going to have to get used to playing because their offense is just going to be moving so quick. If they can get that stuff settled, they're going to blow some people out. That's going to make Texas look a little better, right? If Texas continues to handle their business, especially the perception of the Big 12 as well, because there are some teams in the Big 12 that are struggling right now. You look at what West Virginia is struggling. You know, some of these other schools, you know, we're going to have to look good to continue to get that benefit of the doubt that we're currently getting, right? So all that stuff factors in. The other brother I wanted to mention on offense, because I know we're bouncing around between the Rice stuff and we're not totally organized, but going to the Rice game, Keontae Ingram.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of people have come on and said, and Billy made the comment to me on the LSU video and said, hey, I think by the end of the year, Roschon Johnson's going to be your starting tailback. I'm personally not ready to give up on Keontae Ingram.
I'm not.
It has nothing to do with Roschon Johnson. Y'all know how I feel about him. And he's going to be fantastic. He already is on his way. But we've got to get Keontae Ingram back up and running. I still believe in the brother's talent. I've seen the way he can run and how smooth he is. There's a reason why we had him in our top 10 players. And we had him, you know,
it's between the years.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not the talent wise.
It is, and he's had one bad game, one. Now it was an avalanche for him in that second quarter or first to second quarter, to where he couldn't recover. Now that's where you got to learn and recover from that. So I'm just telling you, like, we can't be so, you know, we're being really fickle as fans with him right now.
He's a sophomore.
He's a sophomore.
He's a true sophomore.
And we're going from bench to, if he goes for a $180 and looks good and busts a couple long runs against Rice, has a few touchdowns, everybody's going to be back on the bandwagon again. Guarantee it. So we have to let the brother find himself. And
hopefully he can. Hopefully I'm right, and hopefully this is a tune-up game.
Right.
And everyone can get their confidence back up. And
before we get to the tune-up stuff, because I don't like the phrase tune-up game.
That's what I'm saying.
It's disrespectful to the opponent.
I know. I said hopefully it is.
Looking back at it.
Yeah, looking back, it was. You know, okay. I'm not saying, hey, we're overlooking Rice or anything like that.
Yeah, I definitely want to put some respect on them, because they've shown some good football at times this year. I do want to address a few things. So we've gotten some more bad news on the health front. We did get some good news right before we started filming. You want to start with the bad? B.J. Foster.
Let's go.
Hamstring. He's going to be out for a while. And then
a severe hamstring. That's what they said. And usually hamstrings take four weeks to fully heal. So if it's severe, it's probably closer to 6 weeks, which that's not.
And I believe he was injured on the onside kick, where Colin Johnson almost recovered it. So his replacement, which was going to be DeMarvion Overshawn, they also announced he was having a back situation. They haven't said, to my knowledge, if somebody wants to correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen a timetable for him in particular.
Overshawn?
I haven't seen any type of, they just said he had a back injury. Didn't sound good, but we'll have to wait further details. I'm really sad for him, because this was going to be a really good opportunity for him to get a lot of playing time and, get some more confidence and get some more reps. He started to play, he played a lot against Louisiana Tech, and he was in the mix against LSU, but to get a whole game of snaps against Rice and to miss that opportunity is a bummer for him. Theoretically, we're looking at guys like, well, from a nickel perspective, Josh Thompson's got to play better, and he's going to get reps. And then you're looking now at Tyler Owens and Chris Adamora, now our true freshmen stepping in. Now Tyler Owens has been playing on special teams, notably kickoff. So he's and Adamora and Owens did play at the end of the Louisiana Tech game in the fourth quarter, but now we need them, right? So those are tough, but
it's real time play.
And it just goes. I mean, there's a reason why that was our number one concern going into the season was health. And we continues to be a struggle and a challenge for us. Good news though, Daniel Young might be back, according to Anwar Richardson of Orange Bloods. So I'm hoping we can add him to the mix.
Add that depth.
And he's a great kid. He earned it. We raved about him before the season, about his selflessness. So I felt horrible that these are guys we can use, right? Just from depth purposes, short yardage stuff. We probably could have used him around the goal line last week potentially. So getting him back in the mix, getting him some reps, getting him in football shape. I think it's a good opportunity for us to get Daniel Young back in the mix, along with Keontae Ingram and Roschon Johnson. So that's the injury update. let's move on to Rice, like in terms of what they have to offer. So they're 0-2. They did play Army in their opener, and they only lost 14-7. A lot of us watched that Army and Michigan game go to overtime. Was it overtime or double overtime?
It was double overtime.
Yes, double overtime against Michigan. My man Shea Patterson was just, he was all over the place. But Army pulled it out, and Michigan pulled it out.
Yeah.
Michigan pulled it out,
yes.
and they celebrated a lot. But it's tough, and but I'm gonna be fair. When you play triple option teams in the regular season, it's a little difficult with 5 days of prep for those weird offenses. Not even weird, but just it goes against everything else you face. So I get it to some degree because OU struggle with same thing, right? I also look at it like Rice defensively has had really good moments, like Army, but they had a lot of time to prepare for the triple option. Now,
6 months to prepare?
Yeah. So you can get the keys and everything lined up. That was also my argument for LSU versus Georgia Southern, right? The thing about Rice is their size. They're very, very small. And you started to see them get beat up like that against Wake Forest last week. They lost 41-21. Wake Forest struggled at the beginning, and then they really got it going, throwing the ball through the air. But they're small on both sides, and just the talent gap is just it's really big, guys. Any thoughts you have just in terms of how
show up ready to play?
Yeah,
I mean, legitimately show up ready to play. Show up wanting to dominate. Show up I want to see the cornerbacks with some fire in them. I don't want them to see I don't want their heads down or anything like that because they got beat by athletes, like legit athletes from LSU. So it's you should be a better athlete than Rice. They should be, and I want to see them dominate. I want to get the young kids reps, get everyone seated and ready get their mindset on Big 12 play.
I have a concern. I don't think this is the game for the corners. Like, I think they're going to be fine because of the talent level. And Rice, they threw the ball okay last week. They didn't throw it great in the first game. And when I say my concern is this, who do we play after Rice?
Oklahoma State.
This isn't the best game to prep for that.
No, I get that, but I want them to get their confidence up going into.
I hear you.
So, like I said, if we hold them under, do you think if we hold them under, say, 150 passing yards, do you think that's a win?
It depends on the context of the yards. Yeah. Because you could have the situation like Louisiana Tech where they're dinking and dunking if you're way ahead.
Yeah, and I'm just saying like if we hold any team under 200 yards passing, I think that's a win.
Oh, absolutely.
Honestly,
I want to see them generate some turnovers too. I think the best way to get D-backs confidence up is generate
picking
turnovers.
Off the ball. Yeah.
And look, we've spent all this time talking about the D-backs, and I know some of you brothers commented last video. Excuse me, I can't remember who it was, but they were like, "Look, what favors is how's the defensive line helping out with this? Because are they getting a pass rush? Because we've been having to allocate. Tyler Orlando's literally having to manufacture pass rush himself by sending more DBs. So guys like a Malcolm Roach and a Taquan Graham and even a Tavondre Sweat, where are you guys to help out with the pass rush organically? Joseph Osai got a sack last week, and that's pretty much it, other than Brandon Jones and some of the pressure he got, right? So we need more people. Like, it can't just be all our DBs being responsible for pass rush and coverage. You see what I'm saying? Like, I do think there's some validity there. Like, one of the things that can help the corners is the defensive ends, defensive linemen in general, helping out with that pass rush and getting a better push.
I don't know the stats. What were the rushing stats versus LSU?
We held them to, like, I think right under 110 or something like that.
Okay. Because
that factors in sack yardage, but they were around 110. Now, their running back, Hilaire, ran for 85. I know on like 17 carries, and he had a touch. But I think as a team, it was like around 110.
Yeah, I think that was his first goal, was to make sure that we win. We hold them under 100 yards for.
That is true. His first goal any game is to stop the run.
So and I think that the D line has played very well against the run. I get where they're coming from on
even LSU. They were fine.
Yeah,
all things considered,
I get where they're coming from on. Hey, yes, we need to have it where our defensive line wins some battles, so we don't have to bring in a safety or two safeties at sometimes. I think what got us in trouble at one Louisiana Tech was we brought both Caden and Brandon Jones, and we ran into rough the
that was Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, Louisiana Tech.
Mm-hmm. One side should have had a pick six.
Yeah, honestly, there should be very few cases or instances where you bring two safeties for.
But
you shouldn't.
He has to. They're not. The defensive linemen just that was one thing that was so special about Poona Ford.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get a lot of sacks, but he would push the center.
He would eat double teams. Right. That's why I love
the center of the guard would go flying into the quarterback, and they would have to reroute. So guys like an Amenahue or Breckenhager, guys on the outside, could eat, right? And it helped. I'm not saying that we weren't blitzing when Poona Ford was around, but it was very helpful to A, have an interior pass rusher, and B, not have to just totally rely on all these exotic blitzes to generate pressure.
How long before it clicks with Coburn like that? The physical aspect, playing up to his size.
I think part of it is learning, how to win against pass rushers. I think he's there as a run stuffer, but it's a little bit different element there. I also think it's in line with conditioning. The amount of snaps that you play, on passing downs, most defensive linemen want to get juiced up on passing downs, but it can be tough, especially for the interior guys when you've been fighting double teams all the time. So I get it,
fair.
But we need that little bit extra juice. If they got to have more of a rotation with Oscar Giles' unit, so be it. But they got to help out a little bit more. I'm not saying we got to be all world pass rushers up front, but it's got to be a better effort than what we've seen the first two games, in my opinion. From an offensive standpoint, I think we're going to have an opportunity to throw the football very well. Wake Forest had no problems last week. Their quarterback, Jamie Newman put up great numbers. I expect Sam Ehlinger to continue to roll. I like to see Colin Johnson have a good game.
I want to see him break 100.
Yeah.
I want to see him break 100.
I want to see him have a good game. But at the same token, I'm not into force feeding him the ball anymore.
No.
I'm not into that anymore because Devin Duvernay, and it's, again, I also want to address something with Colin because I said in the live chat that he had a terrible game, and he lost to Stingley. I don't care about the ball location. Yes, there were some of them that were chest high. Yes, I talked about in our countdown video about wanting to see the dog in Colin Johnson. When I watch Tylan Wallace, I see a dog every single time the ball's in the air. You could even call him for pass interference. He's so aggressive. I don't always see that from Colin, even if the ball's not perfect. That's part of what makes him great is his catch rate. But the PIs he was able to force at the end of the game, he was able to get some things going on Christian Fulton. That was a positive, and he almost made a miraculous play on the onside kick. So I can't just completely blow up his spot like that.
Well, that's how good of a player he's been, is that was a horrendous game for him. Honestly, he's a victim of his own success. And we were hoping he'd play well, especially against these defensive backs, because we really want him to do well and also get drafted really high. And this is the tape that a lot of scouts are going to watch.
Sure,
it is. This is the truth.
But the other guy that's ascending for draft purposes is Mr. Devin Duvernay.
Our guy,
our number one breakout player, and he's he's making us look good, right? He's had a phenomenal season. He's going to continue to put up numbers. UT is committed to getting him the football,
and so it's so great how they're scheming, because it's a little bit it's a little different scheme than what we had with LJ. So LJ was, hey, find the open spots, we're going to get you the ball and you use your physicality. We're trying to get him in open space and go, speedster, go.
But at the same token, he's showing great physicality too.
Ask Delpit.
My man Speed Bump, man, like he just keeps rolling. So, and then Brennan Eagles on the other side. That's why I'm not force feeding you the ball, because I got baby Des Bryant over here looking like a freaking, like, you could make the argument that Brendan Eagles hasn't been throwing the ball enough.
He made one of the most athletic plays. You remember I kept bringing that up, where he was stumbling over, most athletes would have fallen over. And there was even another play in the game where a guy shifted to the left and he got off balance and he fell over. He was catching the ball, falling over, kept his balance, and ran for an extra 30 yards.
Got a touchdown.
Touchdown, yeah.
So Brennan Eagles,
Yeah.
I mean, he's been. You heard Tim Beck talk about him at the press conference. You know, he's like, I don't know how many yards he has. It's a lot. I don't know how many touchdowns he has. It's a lot. Like he's just balling out.
He's doing great, man.
So Sam Ehlinger, it's a beauty for him because he doesn't have to. He doesn't. I don't think he feels like he has to force feed the ball to Colin.
But not only that,
one
now
of his guys are going to win.
He has confidence in them because he did it against good competition, good
Absolutely.
defensive backs. This wasn't.
It was a good
This
test
wasn't
for
a pushover team or anything like
For
that.
sure.
And these guys were winning their routes, and also taking it to the house.
With Rice, just let your talent win because
Yes.
Rice defensively is disciplined, but they're not like they haven't generated a turnover yet. I think they forced one fumble. They haven't gotten a pick. They haven't generated a sack this season. Now, granted, some of that is skewed with them having to play Army, but it's just one of those things where you can't beat yourself. You
Yes.
don't want to see penalties. We've been good at that type of stuff so far. So just playing a clean game, doing your work early, getting other guys. Want to see Casey Thompson get some more opportunities to play in this game and getting some reps. All the Houston boys, they're going to be in NRG Stadium. So, you know, being in front of their families and whatnot. I want to get all the Houston kids that maybe don't play a whole lot. I want to get them all reps. I'm sure Tom Herman and the staff is aware of that as well. But you have to do your work early. Leave no doubt, like we did against Louisiana Tech. And we move on to
Business
starting
trip.
exactly. And we move on to starting our
Big 12 prep.
Exactly. But I mean, that's really all I got. I mean, the other thing too, I do want to note in terms of the Rice situation, because we did talk about, you know, some guys to look out for. Nashawn Ellerby, their running back, he did have a big run against Army, and then he had like 3 yards in the Wake Forest game. They ran, they had 37 attempts for 67 yards. Some of that is sack yardage, but not great numbers, right?
Nope.
And then Tom Stewart, you know, they got a little baby Ryan Fitzpatrick over there, Harvard grad, who was honorable mention All Ivy League, but he will start. The other freshman is dealing with, I believe, concussion issues or something. So I don't know if he's going to play. Somebody correct me on that if I'm wrong. But I believe we'll see Tom Stewart, and he threw the ball okay against Rice. So they're not trash, but we should be able to take care of our business. I don't think they're as good as Louisiana Tech. Not at all. Not at all. So
Don't feel sorry for yourself. Come in and win.
exactly.
Move on.
Exactly.
Move on. It wasn't a terrible loss, and there's still a shot at the playoffs. You win, you're in, I think. I honestly do. I think if we win, we're in.
We got a long way to go.
Yeah.
And it starts with going 1-0 this week, right? So, guys, again, thank you for 5,000. And, you know, honestly, that's that's a great achievement, a great goal that we set for this channel. But I'm just excited about moving forward, getting better at this, right? We've been working of talking with you guys and working on content. But there's other things we're going to start to improve on the channel and rev this up to make it even more enjoyable platform for you guys and more interactive as well. So very excited. You know, anytime we get to watch Texas football play, no matter who the opponent is, it's an exciting day.
It's football.
And can't wait to watch on Saturday.
I can't.
All right, guys. Horns always up.